The newest judge in Branch 2, Dodge County Circuit Court. I've been practicing law for 26 years before I was appointed last year, and I was also the municipal court judge for the town of Fox Lake. And I appreciate this chance to introduce myself, to tell you who I'm about and how I came to this position. I grew up south of Randolph, about 2 miles south of Randolph, with 4 of my siblings. Across from Final Supper Club. I don't know if you're familiar with that area. My dad did construction work in the area for his career. I went to the Christian grade school in Randolph, and from there I went to the Christian high school in Waupun. And after that I went to college and law school. And at law school I met my wife, and after law school we moved to California, where we lived for 10 years. My wife was in the Air Force. She's a nurse, captain in the Air Force. And after a while being out there, the career was going well and I enjoyed it, but we were having more and more kids in our family. We ultimately ended up with 7 of them, but as we were raising our family out there, we knew we had to get back here. We knew we had to get back here to raise our family. It's just a wonderful area where kids are cared for, where families are respected. And we moved back here in 1999 to raise our family. We live about 6 miles north of Randolph, and our kids are going to the same schools, Randolph and Waupun. So that's just a brief bio of myself. My legal career, after I got out of law school, when we went to California, I got involved with a litigation firm. And we tried a lot of cases. I ultimately, after a couple of years, I got into defending municipalities when they got sued. A lot of law enforcement, a lot of what are called civil rights cases in state and federal courts. Tried many of them to juries and a lot of appeals to the Court of Appeals, and really enjoyed that practice. Also did a lot of insurance work, but it was all litigation. When we moved back here in '99, I took a position with a firm. We had offices in Fond du Lac and Waupun. And initially I started doing medical malpractice for doctors, which is an intense litigation practice. And after a couple of years, thankfully, I was able to get back into also the municipal work, which I continued doing until I took the bench. I represented a lot of municipalities in liability cases. I was also the direct attorney for various villages and townships and other municipalities. In my career, I don't know how many cases I've tried to a court or to a jury, but we did a lot of real estate. But that's the background of my experience. When it comes to relevant experience to be a judge, my opponent has told you, and I think he's told other people, that I've had maybe a little over 200 cases in my career. I think we need to clear the air on that. We need to be honest. Now you can take numbers from CCAP and say, well, I've had 200 cases that I've handled in my whole career. Now this doesn't count my federal practice, which was a bulk of my work, in 10 years of trying cases in California, state courts, federal courts. I've handled appeals to the 7th Circuit in Chicago, and if you want to know how to be in a courtroom, you stand before them people and you argue a case. It's not true. I've handled many more than 200 cases, and I've tried many cases. So we need to be honest when we're standing in front of people about our qualifications. I haven't handled 2,000, well, maybe I have handled 2,000 cases. I don't know, I haven't counted them up, but I can tell you that the bulk of my practice is not handling small claims. I do real litigation. I tried cases. And I presented this to the governor's committee when I applied for the job. And there were 3 finalists, and I was one of the finalists. My opponent was not. Thankfully, I was selected among the 3 finalists. The other 2 have supported me, and here we are today. I took the bench in October, and it's been going very well. If you want to know how it's going in the court, if you want to know if I'm handling things properly, ask the attorneys who appear there. Talk to the bailiffs, talk to anybody there, ask how things are going. I would welcome you to do that if you want to know the true story. So that's the basis of the background of how I got to this job. Now, a little bit about what it really takes, I think, to be a qualified judge. And you can talk about your experience, how many cases you've handled, what you've done in your community, but what really is behind it all is what's inside that person, what's in your heart, and what that person's about. And a little bit about who I am. I'm a father. I'm defined by my family, my faith, and honesty and integrity, and I believe I have the intellect and the fairness to handle this job and to do a very good job for our community. A big part of being a judge is being fair and considering everybody that comes before you, listening to them, and giving everybody a fair chance. And that's what I strive to do. And I really appreciate the opportunity to do that. If you have any questions about how things are going in Branch 2, I welcome those questions. When I talk to groups, I often talk about the problem we have with heroin and other drugs in our county. I don't think we have the time for that today, but that's a very relevant topic. And going forward, I will assure you that if you place your confidence in me to continue with this position, which I certainly appreciate, I will approach it with sincerity, and I will value our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. It's important to me that we know that. So if there are any questions, if anybody wants to talk to me later, feel free to do that. I'll be around later on this evening. So thank you very much for your time and for the chance to introduce myself.